What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video. My name is Mohammed, and today I'll be showing you how to replace your torque mount for a Nissan Altima Coupe. Now this video only applies to a 2.5, however, if you have done your research on a 3.5, you might be able to follow along. So hope this video helps out, and let's get started. Alright guys, so here are the tools that you are going to be needed. You're going to need a breaker bar to break loose the mount. You are going to need some sort of ratchets. You're going to need an 18mm for the torque mount bolt. You're going to need a 14mm either wrench or a socket for the power steering reservoir, and you're going to need a 13 or 12mm for the strut tower mount. You are also going to need a wrench, like I said, for the power steering reservoir, and of course you're going to need your actual torque mount. So if you want to buy this mount, I will have the link in the description to where you could buy it from. I bought mine off of eBay, of course, because this for the price, I got it for $20. If you go from Nissan, you could get it for around $69, but I mean, it's a torque mount, you could get it for 20 bucks, so why not? Alright, so the first thing that you need to do is remove the power steering reservoir, because as you can see, it's blocking the bolt right there. It's pretty simple. It's 3 bolts right there, so 2 right there and 1 right here. That's why you need a 10mm wrench, because you won't be able to fit a socket over here. Once you have this, just move it. Be careful of the pipe right here. Once you have this, just don't yank it too hard, just move it a little bit on the side, and then you can start removing this bolt. So let's get started with this. Alright, so they are going to take some time to take out. The bolts are not that long, as you can see. They're pretty normal sized bolts, but it takes some time to wrench along because you don't have much room around here to work with. So once you have taken off the bolts, you can see, as you can see, you can move this aside to have access to that bolt right there. So yeah, remove this. Now we have to take off these 2 bolts right here. So this will be a 13mm, and since I have coilovers installed, mine is a 12mm, but mine was stripped, so I had to use a strip remover bolt. But for you, it could be either a 13mm or a 14. I'm not too sure, but for me it's a 12mm. So remove this nut right here, remove this bolt right there, and then this should pop up, and then you have access to that bolt right there and that bolt in the bottom right there. And you will need a breaker bar to break those loose, because they're going to be very tight. So you see, when you remove this bolt and this one, you will have some leverage for this right here, so that it won't be too much, but it's a little play to take off that bolt, because if you try to put a socket, it's going to be very tight, so you might need to wiggle it around a little bit. And also, this is a 13mm, not a 14mm, so just keep that in mind. And yeah, just wear gloves, because it's a very, if you recently drove this car, just be very careful, because it's very hot around here. So now we're gonna move this aside a little bit and take off that bolt. So get your breaker bar and let's get started with this. So like I said, guys, just move this back a little and just wiggle it around, and it should fit. So just be very careful with the pipes. You might need to move the AC line a little, and you see right there, and then just move it back a little. It should be very tight, so it's gonna take some force. If anything, just use some WD-40 and it should wiggle out, but as long as if you have a breaker bar, it should work. Back a little. Right there. Alright, so once you have this loosened up, let's get your ratchet and it will be very simple to take it out. So you might need to finish it off with a wrench, because as you can see, if I try to take it off, it's stuck right here. So might just bolt it in a little bit and just do it by hand. Alrighty. So yeah, once you have it halfway through, you could just take it out by hand, because if you try to take it out with a wrench, it's gonna be very tight, so you might not be able to take it out with a wrench. And if it doesn't come out by hand, then just try to get a wrench and should be pretty easy to go. So this is finally out, and oh my god, look at this. So you see what I mean when you need to replace this? Just look at it. It's two pieces. Like look inside over there. That's crazy. I don't race or anything, but damn, that's crazy. So if you're getting any type of clunking noise, you definitely need to replace this, because this is just two pieces right here. Alright guys, so for the one you have right here, the bolt is very hard to put in a ratchet. So what you need to do is I remove these two bolts, the one on top for the short tower, and then I had my brother to yank it up, and so that I could fit in this ratchet. But it's so hard to have a leverage, so unless you have a shallow mount ratchet, which I don't, I'm gonna use the pipe for the jack for better leverage as a breaker bar. So it works out. Hopefully it works out pretty good. So once you have it broken in, then you could just ratchet it up. It's gonna be very simple. And this is the same deal with the other bolt. You might need to ratchet it just a little bit so that you could actually take out the ratchet, because if you do it all the way, it's gonna be very hard, like you can see, to take it off. So do the rest by hand. Pretty simple. Once you break it in, then you could just do it by hand. Because they have, by Nissan, they just put some Loctite so that it doesn't break loose while you're driving the car. So should be pretty simple. If it doesn't work, just take some vice grips or something and just keep breaking it loose. So once it's unbolted, you see it gets stuck over here. That's why I said to unbolt these two strut towers, and then you wiggle it around and it should pop out. You see, all this blue stuff is Loctite. So I suggest when you put it back in to put some Loctite before putting it back in. I don't have it, so I'm just gonna tie it as hard as I can. So yeah, now it should come out fairly simple. So let's yank it out. And as you can see right here, horrible condition. Alright, so as you could see, it just tore apart. Like if you're having any clunking noise, this is definitely the case. So we have a replacement one right here. Let's look at the difference. That should not happen. So if this is the case, you definitely need to change it with a new one. So this one will slap back in. Should be fairly simple. Just a reverse process of what we did, and I'll link the description for the torque specifications. You need a torque mount for this. So I forgot to tell you guys before, but you need a torque mount. So whenever you have everything done, torque down everything, wrap it up, and you're good to go. All right, so it's from here on, it's a reverse process. So just make sure you got the right angle in. So make sure this edge right here, it sits in like this, not like this. Just make sure it sits in like this. So it's gonna be a little tight fit. So just wiggle it in a little bit. Make sure you guys are wearing gloves of some sort or something, because the engine is very hot. So, and as you can see, it is a perfect fit. So put in the other bolts right now. Put in the top one first, then the one right here. Don't tighten all the way because you have to torque down the bolts. So let's start putting the bolt in. This is the bolt for this one. So as you can see, now it's the same process. So you might have to wiggle it in a little bit. It's gonna be a little hard, but you just have to figure it out. So let me see this one over here. Yeah, you see, you just have to wiggle it around and it should fit in. Just make sure the bottom is in the right position, or tighten it by hand for now so that you have it in the right place, just to make sure, and then you'll start putting it back in. So once it goes down all the way, just torque it down. Like I said, I don't have Loctite, but if you do, make sure you use it. I'm gonna be checking on with these bolts every so often to make sure they're tight. And I will go to the hardware store later today to get Loctite and just make sure that everything is tight on there. So this one will go in pretty easy as well. Like I said, just move the power steering reservoir and wiggle it around a little bit. It should be good to go. There you go. So put this in like so. Now it should go in snugly. Just make sure it's aligned, and then just start bolting it in by hand, and it should go in fairly easily. It should solve your problem with clunking, but if you still, however, have some clunking, then I suggest taking it to a mechanic shop to check out your other mounts, because you might need to change your actual motor mounts then. In my case, my motor mounts are pretty good, so I don't have to worry about those. My torque mount was pretty messed up. I don't know how it got messed up so bad, but nevertheless, it's always good to change it every so often. So now I'm just gonna get my ratchet because it's kind of hard from here now, and then just keep tightening it. So just get your ratchet, 18 mil, and ratchet away. And you should be good to go. So that's how you put in this bolt. Then I'm gonna tighten the top one, and we'll torque down these two bolts. Alright, so I couldn't really find the torque specs online, so what I'm gonna do is just take my good old breaker bar and tighten it as hard as I can. So let's get to it. If I do find the torque specs online, I'll just link it in the description, but for now I'll just tighten it as hard as I can. You don't want to just lay on the breaker bar, you don't want to break it either. So just make sure it's around close to 80 to 90 foot-pounds. And then again, don't quote me on that. I'm just trying to tighten it as hard as I think will be good, because you'll see when you unbolt it, just try to make it as close to that, and then you should be good to go. And I think that's good enough. Okay, and then for this one, like last time, the breaker bar doesn't fit. As you can see, what I'm gonna do is get a medium-sized ratchet, like so, and then get my my barrel from my jack and just yank it, and it should work out. So and just go slowly, no need to rush, and it should be very snug, and that should be good. So yeah, there you go. And yeah, that's about it. That's how you change a torque mount. Before I close this video, I need to show you something cool. So if I would have figured it out before, it wouldn't take me 30 minutes just to take off this power steering reservoir. But basically, this is actually clipped on like so. Oh man, I lost my bolt. Anyways, so this clips on right here, and to make your life easier, just get a flathead and pull this out, and then if you yank this down, this whole assembly comes off. So to put it back in, what I'm gonna do is just bolt this up real quick and then just slide this in, and then it'll be so much easier than just wrenching it out. So just a little tip. So here is a closer view of how bad this mount is. It's really, really bad. I'm glad I changed it. So there you have it, guys. That was an installation video for the torque mount. I really hope this video was informative and step-by-step instructions. If you have any comments or any concerns, or if you need any assistance, please drop down the comments below and I'll be sure to answer it. And also don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links will be in the description below. And also, if this video was helpful, please give it a big thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe. So for my next video, we are going to be installing more car parts. So definitely stay tuned for that one.